From now on, we shouldn't ask, what do the aliens look like, but do we look like the aliens? Well, this was something that my grandmother told me about when I was a little boy, 5, 6 years old. She would read bedtime stories to me about ancient astronauts and alternative history. And when I was in my early teens, I rediscovered those books and I started to devour them. I think that the entire world is filled with mysteries that deserve more exploration. The reason why many of the mythical creature stories exist is because due to misunderstood technology, cargo cult behavior, because our ancestors were as intelligent as we are today. However, we all have to agree that their technological frame of reference was different than ours today. Today, when we go outside, or even right now with the cameras here and the microphone and your cell phone, we know all this stuff is technology. But imagine for a moment that you wouldn't know how to describe a bus or an airplane or a camera, a cell phone, the lights, and all of a sudden, in order to describe these things, and you wouldn't have the words for it, you would resort to words that exist in nature, like in the animal kingdom, and all of a sudden you have ancient stories of flying dragons and flying snakes and things like. Look, our ancestors knew that snakes do not fly. So why do we have flying snake stories? And this is not just, in Central and South America, it's worldwide. Here in Southeast Asia, with the dragons leaving behind a trail of smoke and fire. And when they landed, the earth was trembling, and then the mouth opened or the belly opened and people walked out. Well, try explaining the deembarkation portion of a plane, the passengers coming out of the fuselage. Well, try explaining that without the words that you know today. His mind is opening. Yeah. It's a good thing. A lot of these sightings are things that could be explained with conventional means. There are certain things that cannot be explained away with conventional means. And for example, in August of 2014, I experienced with 30 other people, I experienced a UFO sightings. It was in the middle of the night, and we were watching the night sky, and the constellation of the Big Dipper had 2 additional stars in the formation. And all of a sudden, after 10 minutes of observation, those 2 stars started to move equidistant from each other into the sky and disappeared. Now, 30 of us saw this. These 2 stars or these 2 lights didn't come down. It wasn't a satellite. It wasn't the International Space Station or something like this. So what was it? And 30 of us saw it, and that evening all I could wonder was, what did the pilots look like? Well, okay, so let's spin this story further. Let's assume that one day they will land and the hatch opens. And to answer your question, I think that we will look at ourselves in the mirror. They will look like you and me, because according to the ancient astronaut theory, we as a human race are their offspring. We are their children. They are the ones who actually propelled us into the society that we are today. So, this whole Hollywood stereotype of what aliens look like, I think it's fantastic, it's great, but it's not necessarily, in my opinion, based in reality. So, from now on, we shouldn't ask, what do the aliens look like, but do we look like the aliens? I don't know, but what I think is that movies, science fiction movies or fantasy movies, or even shows like Ancient Aliens, they prepare us for their eventual return, which I think may happen within our own lifetime.